what you think of the Central Michigan performance?
Oh, sloppy. Yeah, there were some really good moments, but we just way too sloppy and shot ourselves in the foot a lot. And just, to be honest with you, to some degree, some uncharacteristic mistakes, just with, some pre-snap issues that obviously were the most disappointing thing about the game is just we just played sloppy at times.
Script is going really well. I mean, you scored on the opening drive of every play. What do you guys diagnose and what do you see after that, the rest of the first half of maybe what's not kind of carrying over?
Oh, I don't think it has anything in relation to the script. Obviously we script, in between series too, like as far as what the plays are. And, in my mind, I kind of have a bank of them that we go with and talk through. And so I think sometimes maybe the familiarity to practice them a little bit more on the previous day in the flow, which we do. We try to get, a few of them to start the game out. And then so really after that, it's I don't know necessarily about it making adjustments, but we just didn't execute, And there was obviously, just like every game I've ever coached and called, there's going to be a handful of plays that they have a better call than I do. And that's the cat and mouse game. That doesn't make it okay, it doesn't make it acceptable, but the truth is that's the way it is in football at every level, that there's times where you call a play and it's not the most optimum look, and they had that happen a few times, and it's my job to make sure that doesn't happen very often, especially in critical moments. So we didn't execute really well in the middle, similar to a couple weeks ago. Just we're hitting too many lulls right now offensively. A lot of signs of life, just hitting some lulls that obviously as you go on the road, we're going to have to tighten up.
It seems like Luke has really good chemistry with Pat Bryant and Franklin, against a defense like Nebraska. Is it vital to kind of have that passing game clicking?
Oh, yeah. I mean, anybody we play. I mean, obviously Nebraska's they've got a great team, a great defense. It's obvious when you turn on the film. We know that from playing them last year. The scheme is a really great scheme, and they've got a lot of confidence. But anybody you play in the Big Ten, and you have to be balanced. And if you're not, you're going to be in for a long day one way or the other. And so we got to continue to throw and run the ball to have the opportunity to be successful.
Last year, only 7 points scored against Nebraska. What do you think is kind of different with this offense coming into this year? Are you more confident about this meeting?
Well, last year's last year. We talked even when we reference Kansas or the rematches. Obviously, there's a lot of people that were involved in that, and there's some people that weren't. On a part of our team, and the ones that were, starting with myself. That's not a great feeling when you let your team down and you don't score. Our job is, I've said it several times, and it's not my saying, it's anybody's saying, is that my job and our job is to score one more point than the other team. And, whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like, we don't care. And, obviously last year we didn't get it done, and this year presents a new opportunity, and against a very formidable opponent and an environment that'll be really challenging.
Barry, what do you like about what's going on in the perimeter run game right now, especially maybe like the pin pull action that you've got with your interior guys?
Well, I think our tackles are athletic and can pull, and I think our receivers do a really good job blocking on the perimeter, and that's something that we got to continue to grow. Just in general, we got to be able to attack all field zones.
Sure.
At any time, at any run or pass. And that's when you're good on offense, is when you can go horizontally and go vertically with run and pass. That's when you've got a good system, and we've been inconsistent in that regard. We've had flashes in those schemes that you're referring to, and we've got to be sharp in all of our phases and all of our schemes this week.
Coach, when you're 3 games in, what can you learn about yourself just watching your own game film, and how does that kind of inform how you game plan for this week?
Sure, that's a great question, because you think and the best way to find out about who you are is play games against good teams, and we have, and now we're about to play a great team, and on defense, overall just a really good team, and in particular defensively, as we go into my lens, as I look through the lens of it, this defense will be probably the biggest, strongest, fastest defense we've gone against at this point in the season. And so what I've learned is that when we execute, the good things happen. When I put my guys in good positions and we execute the way we're capable of, good things happen. Now, we're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw for everything we get. And execution will be at a premium this week. So that's the biggest takeaway for me, is like when we do things right, we put ourselves in good position, we can be really good on offense. And we don't. When I don't put them in good positions, we don't execute very well, we're going to sputter at times.
What do you see you guys want to run the ball better? Coach Wheelan's talked about that. When you go about troubleshooting that, personnel play, whatever formation, how do you kind of go about it, and what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, you dissect everything, right? You look at through the first 3 games, what you've been efficient in, what's giving you problems, and you reflect on the previous game and say, well, is this scheme related? Is it call related? Is it execution related? Is it personnel driven? All those things. So I could talk to you for an hour about how you dissect that, but it's our job to peel that back, to put our guys in the best position that they can be. possible to be able to execute and, you know, stay ahead of the chains and be efficient in our running game. We've had moments of that. We've had flashes of that. We've got to have more consistency there.
What stands out to you about Nebraska's defense?
Big, fast, strong, you know, big, fast, strong, confident. You know, I think it's impressive to watch them play. And, you know, but our guys are going to be ready for that challenge. And they know it's a Big Ten battle on the road. And they know a lot of our guys know what that looks and feels like. The guys that are new to the program, they don't, but they're going to figure it out in a hurry. You know, their scheme is a unique scheme that gives people a lot of challenges in preparation, and they know their scheme well. And so, you know, I think they got a lot of respect from our end going into this game and who they are.
I heard you guys practicing with that crowd noise, you know, just for an offense and for your offense. What's it like playing in an environment like Nebraska's on Friday?
Well, you know, any road game, you know, in our league presents that challenge. Now, obviously, I was at Nebraska a couple of years ago, and obviously their experience is unique to some degree, and super loud. You know, I don't know if we can try to emulate the best you can, but we've got to be able to have a great deal of poise in that environment from start to finish, because we know it'll be loud, and it'll create a challenge. But fortunately for us, none of the people in the stands can make a tackle or, you know, cover anybody, and they do create an advantage there. Obviously, just like our people at home do. You know, our people have been phenomenal at home. And the noise and when to use the noise, and so that they certainly are very educated fans and do the same thing. We've got to be able to handle that challenge.
Are you pleased with addressing the pre-snap penalties from last game through this week so far? Because that's obviously something that crowd noise can contribute to.
So absolutely, yeah, that can add complexity on top. That's one of the disappointing things about, in retrospect, you know, we're at home and the environment didn't create any challenge, and so now we're going into an environment that will create challenges. And I think our attention to that and our attention to detail and our focus on that has been phenomenal this week. But we got to carry that on tomorrow and the rest of the week, and then take it into the game and apply that.
What's your message to the offensive line right now? Is you and Bart and Coach Bioma obviously want more out of the run game? What's your message to them? What do they need to do?
Well, they're just like anybody else on our team, starting with me. We got to get better. You know, I mean, we got to look in the mirror and figure out, you know, what I can do to help our football team become more complete and more in sync. Because there's phases, there's times, there's moments where it's like, bam, you know, bam, 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 you know, and then there's moments where and that's kind of football in general, but there's too many of those right now for us, you know, to be the consistent the offense that we want to be. So it starts with looking in the mirror. How can I get better? How can I put my guys in better position? Then they have to look at that same way as how can I improve? And then it starts functioning as a unit, you know. So it's kind of a micro picture, and then it goes to a little bit more of a macro view. And so all those matter. And I hope I use those examples right. I'm not sure if I did, but it seems like it made sense to me, you know. But we just got to be more synced up, you know, and we've had moments where guys have played really well across the board, in particular at the line. They've all had their moments, right? We just got to get them all five playing together at the same time, and I'm confident we're going to get them there.
Coach, you guys moved into the top 25 this week. Is there a value there at all for you as a coach and also for the team or not?
Well, sure, there's value there. I mean, we don't pay much attention to the outside noise, but
right.
Sure. I mean, it's a lot better than being not ranked. Yeah, we got to go. You know, we got to go and earn that. You know, earn that ranking, or, you know, not back that up, but. You know, our players have put themselves in position to be noticed because of the way we started the season, and that's always good. Is that going to carry any weight when we go in the game on Friday night? No, it won't carry any weight when the two teams are on the field, nor where they're ranked. You know, it's just two teams getting after each other. But I think it's nice for our players to be recognized for that, and they know, the guys that were around here a couple of years ago know that the more you have success, the more those good things come your way. You know, potentially. But we're focused on Friday night and having to go to the road and go on the road in a really playing a really good football team on the road, and we're gonna have to play our best.
Barry, it seemed like in the preseason, a lot of the talking points was that Luke's processing was getting faster, the ball was getting out quicker. Mm-hmm. I would imagine through 3 games you've seen that.
Yeah, I think that backs that up. I mean, you know, there's still some times where, you know, like you know, that maybe we want it just a little bit faster, but like that's every game I've ever coached or every quarterback I've ever coached. There's always a play or two. You're like, speed it up. I think I really like where Luke's at. You know, I really like where he's at and the way he's seeing things, the way he's playing, the way he's communicating. You know, I think our team's ready to offensively to another day work to get ready to go over there and see what we could do. But I do like the way the quarterback is processing the game and playing. I think he's played at a really strong level right now.
Very obviously top 2 buyouts playing really well. But how's that slot position evolving in your offense with Collins and right, Zakari and Pat?
Yeah.
How's that group kind of evolving and what it is in this offense?
Have you noticed or kept track of how many different guys have been in the slot? I know you're asking me that a lot this summer.
It's different with Isaiah going, right? Like,
right. Yeah, it's different. So you see, like I told you guys, you're going to see a bunch of guys in there. And we'll continue to see that. So it's a mix and match of skill sets and groupings on who goes in there. And I think we've got a bunch of guys that are capable of playing in there. And so it's been good to see each of them have their kind of the moments. All of a sudden, sometimes I don't even know who who's in there just because we have some free rotation and a guy may be tired. And I looked up and we threw the ball and it was Colin, who is our starting slot. And then another time it was Hank in there. And so I think that's good for our team to create balance. And again, I can't brag on our wide receiver room enough as far as just the guys that have been there and been unselfish and just put, when they've had opportunities to make them, and we're going to have to make them Friday night now. I mean, this is a good, solid physical defense, and they got to show up again for us on Friday.
As a coordinator, just the plays of like the run pass selection's been pretty balanced so far. Just as a coordinator, I'm just curious, sometimes if you have to throw it 60 times, if you have to throw it 50 times, as a coordinator, do you pull the trigger on that?
Well, yeah, true balance is be able to win the game running and be able to win the game throwing. To be able to win a game, either whatever dictates. And so true balance is not, anybody can go out there and achieve true balance by calling 50 passes or if you have 80 plays, calling 40 runs and 40 passes. You can do that. That's not true balance in my perspective. I don't think, nor any offensive coordinator would see it that way. It just so happens that maybe it's played out like that. But true balance is having the ability to run the ball and win a game and be able to pass the ball and win the game. And we've had flashes of both of those through the first 3 weeks, but we got to piece it together. And so my job is to put us in the best position, whatever schematically that reflects at the end of the game for us to have a chance to win it.
Barry, you weren't.
On Collins' trunk play against Central Michigan, obviously got a big block from Pat, but it seems like Collins, he set that up a little bit for himself. Is that kind of a heady play for a red shirt?
Yeah, he's shifty and he's very heady. That's one of the things that's been an advantage for him. He's got really good instincts and knows how to play the game. He's got really good timing as far as where the spots that he's in, when he's there, how he gets there, and so he continues to show that.
You weren't here in 21, Barry, when Barge was birthed, but do you like what you're seeing out of Brandon Henderson and/or Clayton Leonard in that big package right now when you go to it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've not been. When we lost Cole, we've been, at tight end position. We've had some different people in there and tried to continue to work and develop some depth there. And so obviously we wanted to get Brandon involved in the game and thought he did a good job in his role. And, he's a big guy that's athletic that we think can help our team. And he's got good hands too, he's got good hands. So that's one thing that's unique about him.
Not a lot of turnover.